Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. Y'all, I was about to record and then it started recording and I pressed something and the recording went away. So anyway, it was a little false start, but we're here. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button when you come in. We are here to discuss the Love and Marriage Huntsville season 9 episode. I think it's 14 and 15 of the reunion. Basically, reunion is part 1 and 2. Okay, they got titles for the episodes, but yeah, it's reunion part 1 and 2. Anyway, I know these reviews are late, but they are here. Y'all know a girl is doing this doctorate program, so it's a lot to keep up with YouTube and school. So y'all know I'm gonna be slow with the videos, but I'm still trying to push through. Sometimes it does get discouraging, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, but I'm trying to just push through and just, make it fun and something to do to take a break from school. I think I gotta think about it like that. That's gonna keep me going. Plus, y'all, keeping up with the channel, requesting videos. My sister was like, "Are you gonna do family or fiance?" I'm gonna get to family or fiance. Actually, I will record family or fiance right after this video, and then we're gonna do this week's episode of Ready to Love. That will be tonight or tomorrow. Anyway, um, do not forget to hit the thumbs up button. Do not forget to do, comment down below, share the video or like to share your content, and yeah, make sure you are subscribed. Now, don't just be watching and not subscribing. Okay, this is still a growing channel. Okay, we got to get monetized over here so we're not wasting time. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into the review. So, 2 big reunion episodes. We're not gonna hit all the details like we like to do. We are gonna just hit on the main storylines, okay? Because I want to be here all night and I ain't even had dinner. But I was like, let me get this stuff done so I can focus on other things. So and not get so behind where I just give up. Because that sometimes what happens. So anyway. So both parts of the reunion so far have been good to me. This is a good reunion. I had to give them that. Now we know Melanie has left the show. I'm not sure if we talked about that in the last video or not. I see some other social media things going on with possible suing allegations, Mel suing the show or Carlos or somebody that's allegedly. I don't know all the tea on that. I didn't read into it. I don't have time for that. Let's get into the review though. Okay, so but as far as looks go, let's talk about the looks. I thought all the women looked beautiful. Everybody looked good. Men, men wear what they wear. I wish Martell would have wore a suit that fit, but it is what it is. Marcel looked plain. Not Marcel. Maurice looked plain. I did like Marcel's suit jacket. I like Tisha's look. At first, I didn't really like her makeup. I felt like the contouring was a little bit too dark. I don't know, something about the contour, but she looked great. Not sure I felt about that stocking leg, but I need to see it standing up. Um, I like the blue on Mel. I really liked all that bold blue. Not sure if I love the dress and the cape thing, but I like the color. I loved Kimmie's look a lot. The earrings, the hair, the dress, everything. Anyway, Destiny looked good as well. Destiny had a little hiccup with her dress. She said her dress was damaged, so her assistant had to go down to the showroom. Carlos was like, came in there like he was the principal, like, like we waiting on you. He was like, we can do the show without you. Like she was like, I'm not trying to be difficult, but my dress is coming. Came in there like the principal. Destiny and Carlos be giving brother and sister the vibes to me. Is it just me? They be just, getting each other. We also see the showrunner Marcus come through. Now, when I first saw him, to me, he looked a little bit like Marquez, and then I thought that's what the name said. And so I was like, Marquez doing the interviews before the show, but then I realized it's Marcus is the showrunner. And he looked like he could be related to one of them people on the show. And then he got the M name. Do everybody got an M name in Huntsville? Is that the only kind of names y'all can come up with? If names start with an M? Jesus Christ. So anyway, we're gonna get the show, Carlos being shady, introducing everybody. Okay. He felt like the Fletchers looked nervous. They said they're not nervous at all. The first package they show is Tricia and Marsau doing business and Mile and Martell and everything that's happened. I don't know why we had to show this whole long package from season 1 all the way to now, but that's what they did. I really didn't understand why they did that. I didn't get it. So, they asking Martell, like, seeing that, how do you feel about it? He feels like, well, at the end of the day, him and Mel did have success together. And then they asked Mel, she said she looked at it as a positive, like she overcame a lot. Okay, girl. They asked Martell, are you jealous of Marsau and Latisha? He said, you're not jealous of them. So then Carter's like, oh, so you are rooting for them. He said he's not rooting for them either. And he's like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not jealous of them, but at the same time, I'm not rooting for them. So he's somewhere in the middle of that, whatever that means. Martell's still mad about Marsau making jokes about his infidelity and all that. And so then they're talking, laughing about stuff. Somehow it leads to Marsau bringing up the revenge P. And that's where, Marsau said he lost respect for Martell and he don't really see it for Martell. We don't blame him. And so then they get into that whole discussion. And so Mel explains what happens, and Martell pleaded guilty. And so Martell's getting mad. And he's shouting and saying that Mel is lying. So then Carlos is like, okay, well, tell your side of the story. What happened? So then he was like, oh, like basically he couldn't explain it. And so then they're like, okay, when Carlos gives you a chance to explain what happened, but then you're not saying what happened, but then you're shouting that Mel is lying. So which one is it? So then he said he pled guilty. And then because first they're talking about it, Mel finally spoke up and she was like, I'm not gonna let a narrative be painted about this. This is what really happened. He sent a screenshot of Mel and Martell having an intimate moment. She said it was when they went to Destiny and LeBeric's wedding in New York. And so she also said this was not the first time he's done this. And Marcel said he talked to Mel about it because he had been, Marcel said they've been heard about this. And so then, they confirmed it with Mel, and Mel said it was true. So then that's why Marcel was like, basically done with Martell, basically. So, I don't know why I said basically twice, sorry. So anyway, so Martell's basically going off like, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're talking about. And so then Carlos was like, okay, but did you send a text message? And so Martell's like, yeah, I did. And then he said, well, he wrote like he gonna, y'all remember the text message anyway. And so Carlos is like, okay, but you sent that, you don't see that as being bad. And so Martell was like, no, Martell wasn't seeing how he did anything wrong, and he was lying. And then he tried to say it's appeal, but he pleaded guilty, but it just wasn't making sense. And he was lying and everyone's laughing at it. And it kind of was cringe because it's like, okay, Mel really did go through this. Like, why are we laughing at this? I could see, people's point about that for sure. When I watched it the first time, I didn't take it that way. But then when I rewatched it tonight, and I wasn't gonna even rewatch it to do the review, but then I was like, let me just rewatch it and get a little bit more. Oh shoot, what did I impress? Get more from it. I didn't press something on this TV. Anyway, that's what I get for looking down on my phone. Feel like I got to sneeze now. Ciao. Anyway, so yeah, they were going on and on about that, and Marcel was like, you got to ask to Martell if he's lying about Martell, like making a joke, like he not even telling the truth. And so, it was going on and on. And so then they went backstage for a break. And so Marsau and Latisha are talking to the showrunner, and it's like he's not even making sense because he's lying. He's saying he appealed it. And so then he went and talked to Martell. And I guess Martell's trying to say that he had to plead guilty for it to go not be tried by that court and be tried by a higher court. Whatever Martell was trying to say didn't make sense. Martell was up there lying, and I just didn't like the way Martell was just lying. Like in this part, I'm defending Mel all the way. Not that I got to defend anybody, it's just a review. But like, no, Martell is lying, and for him not to understand what he did wrong and not to see it, and for him to lie, I just was like, ooh, if I was mad, I would just regret who I made a baby with. I really would. Anyway, moving on from that segment. Then I think at that time we got the whole thing. Oh, and then at one time, Tricia and Marcel got into it as well, because Tricia was like, you were the one trying to disparage our marriage and from the beginning, and you were telling Mel stuff, and you telling your other baby mama stuff, and it was you. So then Martell shouting back at her, trying to say, oh, you scared of Mel, Mel's right there, you scared of Mel's right there. Like, he's trying to blame it on Mel, but Teacher's like, no, it was you the whole time. It was all coming from you. Okay. Side note, y'all notice how Tisha and Marcel were sitting on the side with Mel. Okay. And Mel peeped that as well. Anyway, and so I'm glad Marcel did not like tap Tisha's knee or make her be quiet at that time. I'm glad that Tisha got to go off on Martell because it was giving. Okay. Anyway, like I said, now we'll move on. I think at this time, I don't think there was anything else in between. I believe we got to the whole Maurice DUI situation. Now, this part was a mess because Maurice and Kimmie were like dodging them questions like the Matrix. Okay, they was not answering anything. They were deflecting. It was giving very much legalistic, but we know that the case was still ongoing at this time, and the reunion was filmed, according to Mel, it was October 2024. So it was October 2024. Anyway, so we didn't find out he was, his charges were dropped till after the reunion was filmed. So at this time when they're filming, they don't know that, right? So, Maurice is not trying to give too much. Now, every time they would ask Maurice a question, they would show Marcel's face and he had a big old smirk on his face, and I could tell Maurice was lying. Because the stuff I feel like Maurice wasn't even answering wasn't anything incriminating legally, but maybe it was because he was like, okay, were you with another woman when you left Black? Remember they was all down to the bar in Huntsville with Funky Dineva is when he got a DUI. And so, Carlos is asking all the good, right questions. I had to give Carlos that. Carlos is asking all the good, right questions. So he was like, okay, where were you between, Black and home? Where were you at this time? What did you do at this time? And, were you cheating with somebody else? Were you with somebody else? And then asking Kimmie, where were you last night? And so Kimmie's like, why are you going to insinuate that wasn't home? Like, this line of questioning ain't making sense to me. But it is, Kimmie. Like, the way Kimmie was protecting her man, I wasn't here for it. But whatever, girl, that's your man. Okay, girl. Okay. Kimmie going to put a cape on for Maurice if she don't do nothing else. But, like, I feel like stuff they could have answered, they didn't answer that would not affected the case. Like Maurice not coming home in the morning, and sometimes he be gone to the weird hours of the night. Like, where do he be at? And then why would you stop? Like, I don't understand leaving Black. And unless it wasn't that late at night, I don't understand. No, but they said it was nighttime. I don't understand leaving Black at night to go down to your office to get stuff. But I mean, maybe that's what people do. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I just didn't like how they weren't answering the questions. And like I said, every time Maurice would answer, Marcel had a big smirk on his face. So I could tell Maurice is lying. So then they got to the whole lipstick on the collar thing. And so into that whole conversation. And Maurice felt like Mel disparaged his name, and she had her chance to show who she was, and she showed it. Now, Maurice, I agree with Mel. You have already disparaged your own name in these streets, the way you handled Kimmie's cancer situation and you needing to have sex. So, no. Anyway, Kimmie didn't like how Mel was running all around town about the whole lipstick on the collar. Carlos called Tisha bone collector. Martell's face looked like what? He looked shocked. Anyway, so they got in that whole conversation, and so Mel was trying to explain like, oh, when me and you had the conversation, but you kept trying to say like you didn't want to talk about it. You didn't want to talk about it, so then we didn't talk about it. So it was one point where I can't remember if it was at the end of part 1 or beginning of part 2 where Mel kept going on and on and on and on and on trying to explain herself, and it was a point where I tuned her out because she just was saying the same. It just sounded like she just kept saying the same thing over and over again. It's like, girl, you're not getting the point. So Kimmie was like, fun shit, whatever it was, like kiki moments. I take it on the chin is when you keep insinuating stuff and running around with it. Like, that's the issue I have with you, and you keep making an implication about something instead of coming straight what it is. And so, they asked Kimmie, do you think Maurice is cheating on you? And she was like, no, but I don't put nothing past nobody. Maurice said he don't put nothing past her either. Okay. And so they asked Mel, okay, well, would you tell Kimmie if Maurice was cheating on her? And she said, no, she wouldn't. But she would be like shocked, like, who's saying this? And so she said something about Kimmie, me and Kimmie ain't really friends like that. Like, we friends and she's a good person, but we not close, and she's older. Like, what her being older got to do with anything? Like, Mel, you want to shade somebody so bad. So then Kimmie's thing was this, like, okay, when we have an issue, Because Mel kept trying to say, when you kept saying you didn't want to talk about it, I stopped talking about it. But she didn't really, right? She kept talking about it. And so Kimmie was like, okay, when we have a problem, when you want to talk about something, it's fine. But when we want to talk about something in our feelings, then it's a problem. But when we do something wrong, it's like we got to have a meeting with Mel. We get called to the office. And Maurice is like, we can have one of them meetings at least once a season. Where's the lie? Now, Kimmie ate Mel up in his part because where was the lie? That's exactly how it goes, right? So Mel was like, no, like if you guys want to talk to me, you can, like there's no issue. And so Mel's like, this, I saw the lipstick thing on the internet, and that's why I brought it to the, to the conversation, because it was my opinion on something. And so Kimmie's like, don't bring me no BS from the internet. She's like, we didn't come from the internet to talk about that bad booty job you got. I didn't even know the girl got a bad job, and it apparently wasn't good because she ain't got that much booty. So anywho, so Kimmie's like, don't come to her with that, okay? Don't come to her with that. So then I think that was when they got in the whole conversation of like, they always got to sit down and have a conversation with Mel. If they do something wrong or offend Mel, get their feelings out. But if they want to in turn have the same conversation with her about something she does and makes them feel, then Mel don't want to talk about it and don't want to have a conversation, right? And so then it was to be continued. Then we pick up in part 2, and they continue with the same narrative. And I think that's when Mel was going on and on and on. And girl, I tuned her out. So anyway, so then Mel brings up, me and Miss Neal had our situation. We kikied and laughed about it and all that. And then, we were good. But then I found out 6 weeks later that she had the issue with me. And so then they got into that whole thing. Now, this part pissed me off. I'm going to go and say it. So then Miss Nell was talking about, what happened with that. And so Maurice was like, oh, but why do you think she didn't come back and talk to you in 6 weeks? And so Mel's like, well, you got to talk to her. That's how she felt. And so Miss Nell said she needed to shut down because she was so angry about the whole mentor thing, right? And so Miss Nell was like, I felt like, I had, talk to you and Martell, mentored you guys. Mrs. Nell said countless nights to the wee hours in the morning. And I believe Miss Nell. I believe her. And I was there for you, and for you to, downplay that made her feel, upset her, of course. And so Chris Fletcher chimed in and he said, see, the thing is like all those nights, we were there for you guys, trying to help you guys. She could have been at home with her mom because her mom was passing away. And that's what Miss Nell said, like, I'm still grieving my mother. My mother was passing away at that time. And so Carlos turns to Mel and he's like, okay, how do you feel about that? She was like, and so Mel said she didn't understand that. And she was like, well, her feelings are valid. Like, but she didn't. This was the part, Mel, where you're supposed to say, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. Like, even if you didn't agree with Miss Nell, this was the part where you should have said, I am sorry. And I don't understand how come Melody couldn't fix her face and say, I'm sorry in this moment, and why people, often have a hard time apologizing. And I've struggled with apologizing before too. I just don't understand how she could be so heartless not to say, I'm sorry in that moment. It just blew my mind, y'all. It blew my mind. So, Miss Nell is talking about, what she felt in that moment, all that. And so you could tell Mel was dismissing it in her body language, right? So even Marcel was trying to tell her, like, come on, like, this is what we're talking about. Like, you got to take it in, Mel. You got to take it in. So she's like, no. I'm listening to that Miss Nell talk, let Miss Tell talk. And so Miss Nell was like, you know what? I got a soft spot for Mel. People tell me I need to feel a different way about Mel. I don't. I got a soft spot for her. And, but I definitely feel like, it's changed things for us. Like, she says she forgives her, but we're not back where where we should be, kind of thing. And so Carlos then tried to like wrap it up in a bow and kind of downplay it. Like, I feel like, there's some things going on, but it's not that deep. But it is deep for Miss Nell because she lost her mom, and she could have been at home with her mom and not having to, counsel Martell and Mel. And so then when they cut to take the break, Marsau and Tisha talked to Mel, was like, see, like what you did just right there, proved their point. Like when they're trying to talk to you about their feelings, then you get defensive. You don't let them talk. And so Mel's like, I always let y'all talk to me. I always let y'all talk to me. And so teacher's like, no, you let us have talks with you. But if it's not something if it's something you don't like, something you don't agree with, you don't let us get our feelings out. Like, and so they even talked about it backstage with the showrunner guy, Marcus. And I feel like the way Tricia and Marcel articulated it was exactly what it is. It's like, if you have an issue with her, like Tricia said, I didn't have many talks with Mel with issues, but she doesn't validate your feelings and what you're going through. She dismisses it or says it's wrong, or she don't want to hear it. But if she wants to talk to you about something she's feeling, then you have to, hear it. Go sit down in the principal's office, like Kimmie was saying. And she literally proved it right there. And so then he would talk to Mel, and he's like, "Are you good?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And then he was like, "But do you see like how Miss Nell could feel because her mom was passing away and she could have been on with her mom, and she, had to, counsel you guys." And she was like, "Let me be clear. I never asked Miss Nell to come over and counsel me." So then you could tell he was shocked that she would tell that bold-faced lie. And so she was like, "I never told her, not to be with her sick, dying mother and come counsel me." Duh, you're not going to say that, Mel, right? But it's implied. If she's leaving to go help you, and I'm sure knew at the time when her mom was going through, or maybe she didn't, I don't know. Of course you're not going to say, "Oh, please leave your mom to come help me." Of course not. But you don't know what else she has going on, and she's leaving to come help you. And then for Mel to fix her mouth to say, "Let me be clear, I never called her over to come counsel me." And even Marcus was looking at her crazy, like, "So you never had her come over?" Because he knew she was lying. And so then she was like, "No, I never called her over to counsel me. I wish to God he would have ran that clip for her. Oh, I wish he would have ran the clip for her." This is Mel introduced this lady on the show as her mentor, and we saw scenes of them counseling Mel and Martell at the house. Now, let's say it was all for TV, okay, but I doubt it, right? I doubt it. So, and even if it was for TV, that's how you presented her on the show. Like, you called this lady your mentor. You said the Fletchers were your guys' mentors. They were trying to help you through your guys', divorce and all that. So I just didn't like how she just told a straight up lie. She couldn't even apologize to that lady. You see, this lady is grieving. Even if I didn't agree she was my mentor, I would apologize to her because she lost her mom. Like, that just rubbed me the wrong way, y'all. I did not like that. I did not like that. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, it's definitely double standard with Mel. But I'm glad she's leaving the show because it's past time she did. I think she just needs to move on. She's never gonna get fully healed, and I don't know what her healing journey looks like. But I feel like she would, for her peace of mind, she should have left the show a long time ago. Anyway, moving on. I think we get to Destiny's package, and Destiny says she didn't talk a lot about other stuff going on in her life before because she wasn't fully healed. And I think that husband had a gag order on her. He definitely had some gag orders on her. So I feel like she kind of had her hands tied, right? Anyway, Kimmie was like, I didn't know she had a lot of healing to do like that. Then they got on the whole topic of Lance and how old is Destiny. Destiny just kept saying, "I'm a grown woman." Miss Nell, I thought you said you're 42. Now, I swore Destiny was 42 as well, and I believe Miss Nell not lying. I believe she said that. Destiny claiming she never said that. I don't think you younger, Destiny, than 42, or a lot younger. You not a lot young. Well, she went to high school with Martell. She may be, I'll give you 40, Destiny. But I don't know, girl. Anyway, Miss Nell, at one time she felt like, Destiny could be her daughter-in-law and she wanted Destiny for Lance, but she not really sure because she feel like she don't know a lot about her and that, she basically be having secrets and lies and whatever. Anyway, Carlos is trying to ask, what did Lance say about Destiny? She said she was a nice lady. Carlos' face got all scrunched like, "Nice lady. That's what you say about the librarian." So then they're trying to ask Chris, and Chris is like, "I can't really say, it's Lance's decision." And Miss was like, "We don't really be talking about Lance's love life like that." They was like, "Why is Lance not out here?" Now I want to know. They should have definitely brought Lance out there. Destiny, Sarah, and Lance are dating. She's dating other people as well. Okay, child, we don't care about that. If y'all didn't bring Lance out, child, bye. Anywho, then we bring out Sunni, and Sunny's wearing the same red as Destiny. And they do that whole package, and they're like, "Okay, like, don't you see how this looks a little strange because, you met Moses through Destiny and all this stuff. So Sunni tried to say that she and Moses didn't start dating until after Destiny and Moses broke up, which we know that's not true because we've seen the text messages of overlap there when Destiny came with those receipts, right? Carlos had asked Sunni, like, girl, where's Moses? It's an empty seat over there. And so she was like, oh, due to, probation and the way the prison system works and they're supposed to rehabilitate you, girl, he left the state lines and he wasn't supposed to. Talking about his probation officer giving him a hard time. He left the state lines and he wasn't supposed to. Talking about his spirit is not here. Carlos said he's giving the spirit of jail. I was cracking up at that part. So anyway, so they got into the whole Sunni and Moses thing, and how everybody came at the, everyone's been talking about Sunni and how this is, wrong. And Tricia was like, I don't understand how somebody who's supposed to be my friend could come, do this to me and da-da-da. And so Sunni was like, okay, well, didn't you date one of Marsau's friends when y'all first got together or y'all got married? Sunni, where you even get that from? And so Tricia was like, girl, no, I don't do friends. I don't do friends. Anything else you want to know about my business? Tricia was ready. Tricia was ready this reunion. Okay. So anyway, and she was like, Sunni is a cool person, but the situation is trifling. And it is. And Sunni might be a cool person, but the situation is trifling. And I feel like the way you're handling it, Sunni, makes it worse because you have no remorse, right? And maybe that's the way to handle it. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Anyway, so they talked about the whole situation. They went more into the Sunni and Moses thing and Destiny finding out when they were getting married, and Sunni texting her, and Carlos was like, oh, why you didn't think it was a good idea to give her a heads up? And so she was like, well, Moses is the one that had a situation with her, so I felt like it was Moses' place to give Destiny a heads up. And I agree with that. Moses was trifling with handling the situation. It sucks that he's not here because he's locked up to, take accountability for his actions, because really he should be taking more of this than Sunni, in my opinion. Sunni's guilty as well, but he was the one laying down with Destiny, not Sunni. Now Sunni was her producer and alleged friend. Okay, let whoever tell it. So she also, owes Destiny something as well. But Moses, I feel like he owes Destiny even more. Or maybe it's equal. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. So Destiny said, now this part was a little, it was a bit of a stretch, and y'all, and it was a bit. Destiny feels like Moses got with Sunni because that was the only person that was the only person he could get with, that he could use to get back on the show to be able to talk to Destiny. Now that was, like I said, it was a little bit of a reach and a stretch. It was. Because the girl, if he wanted to talk to you, he would have just text you or call you. And so then Melody was and Carlos was like, what's so funny, girl? What's going on? So she was like, for her to think that, he would come on the show to try to talk to her, it was far-fetched. Now, Mel didn't have to laugh at her face like that, but it was far-fetched. And so Mel was like, well, that's because y'all met in July. Destiny said, that's because y'all met in July and y'all put the thing together. So then Mel and Sunni was like, Sunni said, liar, pants on fire. So they was like, we ain't even seen each other. No. So Carl was like, let me be clear. You was already coming on the show. We found out about Sunni and Moses. So then we called them and came on the show. But you knew you wasn't surprised. You was an ambush. So he's like, let me be clear. You knew they was coming on the show. So anyway, Destiny said, yeah, I knew, but the whole thing was foul, messed up. And so Carlos was trying to, he's trying to land the plane. And he's trying to say, you come on the show and, you took a lot of heat and, don't you think you're a little harsh, Sunni? And she's like, yeah, okay. And so he's like, you had to deal with a lot. He's like, Destiny, you had crazy moments with Stormy at the Galentine's, but you guys are best of friends now. And she's like, yeah, but, Stormy didn't do all this to me. And so He was like, right, exactly. But, you know, there's grace and, you know, mercy and all that and favor for everybody. And he's trying to say something, but then Destiny cut him off. And then he's like, I'm just trying to land a plane here, baby. I didn't say you know, did that. And then she was like, well, I hope so. And he was like, I was like, ooh, the shade. So anyway, and Carlos was asking a lot of shady good questions this reunion. I had to give him that. So anyway, then, you know, Carlos was like, you know, can we try to move forward, have apologies? Is there room for forgiveness? And so Sunni said, I'm good. He's like, okay, tell her that. And so she was like, I don't have nothing against you. I'm good, girl. I'm fine. And so Destiny's thing is like, there's no forgiveness for her because she's on the internet trying to bring up some kind of allegations about, well, she knows why my marriage broke up and saying I didn't know the paternity of my child. And for that, there would never be forgiveness, because with forgiveness, there's have to be a change in actions. And when she did that, there will never be forgiveness. I don't blame Destiny. Now, you should just forgive people for your own heart and your own mind, right? But you know, I wouldn't play by my child as well, right? So I will forgive, but I would not forget, and I would not fool with her ever again. And so she was like, no, you know, I didn't, you know, say nothing about her child. And she's like, she was up there doing a podcast talking about me every Monday. Destiny said she do her podcast like Carlos. She wasn't talking about that lady. Okay, girl. So they was like, okay, but did you post a Maury post? And she was like, yeah, I did. And she's like, was it towards her? She's like, you could take it how you want to take it. They was like, oh, come on. Everybody on stage was like, okay, now, Sunni girl. So then she was like, you could take it how you want to take it. And so they were like, okay, but do you see how that could be, you know, an issue? And so she was like, okay, like, Sunni, you just need to have some more remorse, girl. You could have a bit more remorse. That's the issue. So anyway, they went to take a break, switch the chairs because what's her name is coming out, Tricia and Ken. So they went backstage, and the show Mel went to go talk to Sunni, and they was talking about, you know, Destiny being delusional, and for you to think somebody gonna come on the show and risk their freedom to get locked up again to come deal with you. Yeah, he could have called you Destiny. Now that was a little stretch, but he was stupid to cross the, you know, like, why are you coming to Huntsville, Moses? Like, why? But it's all for a storyline. Oh, they also asked Destiny, was she trying to give a Lance for storyline? She said no. I don't think the last thing was the storyline. I honestly don't. I could see their little thing. It looks real to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think. So Destiny, and then Sunni did say, well, girl, like, he didn't even come film on the show with you. Because remember, every time Moses was really posted, no, I think we did see a scene with Moses before, didn't we? He was either on the FaceTime. I know he was on the FaceTime. He was on the phone like Jamal Bryant. He was definitely in the phone. I can't remember if we got a scene with Moses before Sunni came on the show. Y'all let me know in the comments. I can't fully remember that. Anywho, moving forward, we got Tricia and Ken in the last segment. Thank God. We got one more reunion to go tomorrow night. Thank God. Anywho, so Tricia and Ken, you know, Tricia said she never, Ken said he good. Tricia came with that blonde again. This blonde at least look better than the last two blondes. Okay, I'm gonna give her that. Is it a good shade for her? No, but it looked better than the last two. Okay. Anyway, Tricia's body looks amazing though. And her dress is pretty. So, or cute. It wasn't all that, but she looked good. So, you know, they asked, you know, they showed Tricia's package and the whole thing with Martell. We're gonna get into it. So they was like, okay, why did you lie? Like, Carla was like, why did you, you know, not tell what was going on with this whole, you know, Martell thing? She's like, well, I'm new to the show. I didn't know how this goes. And he's like, you don't know how to tell the truth. And she's like, well, I didn't know what I was supposed to do because Martell wasn't being honest about it. I didn't know if I was supposed to play along. Like, I knew the show. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Girl. You either tell the truth or you don't. You either tell the truth or you don't. Now, what Martell was doing was kicking up a bunch of dust and mess and confusion for a storyline. That's what Martell was doing. And you, for the sake of your relationship with Ken, should have shut that down immediately and not even play like that. But you didn't. And that's where you made the mistake, Tricia. Okay? So, Tricia, so Carlos started rapid fire question. Did you ever sleep with Martell? No. Did you ever kiss Martell? No. Did Martell ever send you, inappropriate text of his member? No. Did you ever send Martell a text? No. Did Martell try to do anything with you that night when you was down to his house? No. Okay. So she said, honestly, like Martell didn't try to do anything. He was, perfect gentleman that night. All he did was really talk about his relationship with Mel. That's all he talked about. And so, Carlos asked Mel, do you think, Mel, Tricia and Martell split together? She's like, you know what? I knowing my ex, I don't know Tricia like that, but knowing my ex, he gonna sleep with anything with some legs, honey. And so then Trisha's like, ooh, and she's like, girl, ain't nothing towards you, but that's how he is. and is. Okay. So they asked Martell. Okay. Martell said, yeah, me and Trish did sleep together. And then it was paused. And he's like, no, I'm just playing. And so Ken is looking visibly upset. And like, could you blame him? And so Carlos was like, you don't think that owe Ken apology? Like, that's disrespecting Ken. And I think that's where it cut off to be continued. We're going to wrap this thing up this weekend. Thank you, God. Enjoy y'all 3-day weekend. If it's a 3-day weekend for you, it's a 3-day weekend for me. Okay. I'm sure for most teachers, all teachers, it should be a 3-day weekend. And it's All-Star weekend. Y'all into the All-Star weekend thing. And it's here in the Bay. Well, I don't live in the Bay, but I'm like an hour from the Bay. I'm in the Central Valley. So it's in the Bay. So I'm trying to get down there to do something, but we're going to see, y'all. I got lots of homework to do. So if I don't make it, I'm good. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought of the reunion for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 9. Parts 1 and 2. We're going to get to part 3 as well. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Bye.